and welcome to episode 63 of Wax and Lyrical Mains and Duts. Yes, back-to-back weeks. This is almost unheard of from these busy boys. Our mains, my colleague in Rainford, Mr. Neil Dutton. Duts, how are we?
Splendid.
That's what we like to hear.
Not dead yet.
You put your application in for the Manchester United job?
Nah.
No, I've dug out my Championship Manager 2 CV as I'd won an away game and won a trophy, so highly qualified for the job.
I'm hoping to get a Champions League gig.
Yeah, true. Don't see. I'm looking to start low and work my way up. Do you know, like he did in Champman? So I don't want to go for one of them big teams. I just take one of them mid-table Premier League teams, see if I can push them into the top four.
Yeah, I can see where you'd want to start low, but
Yeah, we don't want to take one of them big teams like Everton. Miles ahead of Man U, do you know what I mean?
I should point out that potentially, the situation exists that there's a team who've been successful for 20 years. They're having a bad year. All of a sudden, it might go very well for them next year. I like to call it the Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck scenario.
Oh, the thing is, though, Dutton, I agree with that, by the way, as we digress into football.
Mm.
But when you've got that 1 year, you've got to make the most of your opportunity.
And I think you have, yes.
That's all I'm saying. I agree with you. I don't expect them to be 7th next year, let's just put it like that. But luckily, and this is my last Man U dig, they don't sack managers and they don't buy the league as they sack a manager and look to spend 200 million quid. Dutton, this week, another guest. Mr. James Dixon, producer and presenter of Tuesday Morning Football. Should be a good one, Dutton.
It is. Well, it is. Hopefully it will be. Yeah. I'm sure it will be.
I know it will be. But before we get on to that, Dutton, we're going to do another mock draft.
Indeed. I think, though, we should, for the sake of posterity, point out that I won.
You did win last week, done well done. And it's not surprising you had Spider-Man. So I didn't expect to win as soon as you had Spider-Man, if I'm brutally honest.
The first rule of draft, you've got to go with the strategy. You've got to play the room. Yeah,
and you played the room, Dutton. Congratulations to you.
I'll be honest, he wasn't there. I didn't expect him to be there on my board, but he fell to me. So
exactly, I took the Daniel Snyder approach to drafts. This week's mock draft is a subject close to man and Dutton's stomach. We'd like to make it noted right now that to be able to talk about this subject, we've received agreement from the Chocolate Committee, which is our friends Craig, Mick and Gaz. That's right. Our mock draft is chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
We can't wait, Dutton.
I'm hungry now, to be honest.
I know.
I mean, I can still see Easter eggs from where I'm stood.
I'd like to state for the record, as we speak, I haven't received a single Easter egg. I feel like I am about to cry. I know Kate, while writing a new blog, is eating an Easter egg, but I did not receive one.
Cry me a river.
Well, I'd rather someone just cram me an Easter egg into my room.
No thanks.
Okay. So again,
I got 6. By the way.
How? Okay, I need a list. Who gave you them?
Well, Kate bought me one.
Okay.
Kate's mum bought me one.
Okay. Why is Kate mum buying you an Easter egg? 33 years of age.
Same reason that she buys me beer at Christmas. I'm
fat drunk.
I'm a good little son-in-law.
So you're just a fat drunk?
Yeah. I got another one from Kate's auntie.
Kate's auntie?
Yeah. And well, I forget who else got me one. Oh, my mum and dad got me 2.
Because one's not enough.
Yeah, one from each. Nikki got me one.
One from your mum and one from your dad?
Yes.
Who live in the same house?
Yes.
Who are married?
I hope so.
Well, okay, carry on. Nikki got you one?
Nikki got me one as well, yes.
This is unheard of.
And I should point out that I don't really want my 1-year-old daughter eating Easter eggs, so I've got hers as well.
Words fail me. How you got 6 and I got none?
My teeth are going to fail me.
Well, yeah, they'll be plastic soon.
Nom, nom, nom.
Yeah, will you be able to suck your chocolate till it melts in your mouth?
Lovely. Thanks for that.
You're welcome. So again, we've done the toss offline this week.
Don't ever say that again.
No, I actually laughed as I said it. The winner of the toss this week was me. Ironic, as Dutton's a professional tosser, as we discussed last week.
Yep.
That means I get first choice on the chocolate.
Well, you could defer.
I could defer. I'm not going to, because you'll probably make me kick the Cop M first half.
Yeah.
So, as with last week, 5 choices. Best full over selection wins. And again, we'll ask you to vote. And we'll say hashtag mains choc or hashtag Dut's choc.
Dutton's Delight.
Dutton's Delights, okay.
And the Mainsy Mixture.
The Mainsy Mixture, like that, Dutton. Hashtag Mainsy Mixture. Dutton, I'm going first. It left our lives for a while, but it returned, and then it leaves, and it keeps on coming in and out, and I like the way they do that. Dutton, it's a Whisper Gold.
Whisper Gold, I remember it very, very vividly when it came out the first time back in 1996, I believe. I was on my work experience at Everton at the time, and I was out on a dinner break at a local newsagent, and I saw it. I was like, "What the hell is this? How could they possibly improve the Whisper?" But I got one, and yeah, its absence was keenly felt.
When they got rid of Whisper as a whole, they knew it was a mistake. And then they drifted the Whisper Gold back to us, and they flew off the shelves. And I was a key component of that.
I do have to stress that if we have had the permission of the Chocolate Committee to do this draft, you have angered them by making this the number 1 draft pick.
Yeah, but you're gonna pick their number 1 pick.
Yes, I am.
Because you're gonna
I'm a corporate shill.
Yeah, because you're gonna bow to their overlord powers, whereas I fly in the face of them. I can say that because I'm usually at least 300 miles away from all of them at all points now.
Yeah.
Dutton.
Which is why my first pick is the Yorkie biscuit and raisin.
Which is obvious, and if Craig, Mick and Gaz were ever going to listen to our podcast or be on Twitter, would make you an automatic winner. Luckily they're not. So talk everyone through really the Chocolate Committee and Yorkie biscuit raisin done.
What else do you want from a bar of chocolate? It's Yorkie, so it's just for men. It's got biscuit in it, and it's got raisins. It says what it says on the packet. It may as well say Yorkie biscuit and raisin. Get it down, yeah.
The Chocolate Committee, Dutton, friends of ours. They just, let's not beat it on the bush, and they don't listen to our podcast. The fat lads who eat a lot of chocolate.
They're no stranger to Cadbury's or Mars.
And boy, do they love it. So they would officially christen the Chocolate Committee. And in theory, when new chocolate bars hit the market, these are the people you need to go and speak to before they get the seal of approval. Dutton, second pick for me. White chocolate chunky Kit Kat.
I have issues on technicalities.
Okay, talk me through the technicalities, Dutton.
A Kit Kat's a biscuit, it's not about chocolate.
See, this is where I knew this argument would come. I agree in its 2-finger form.
Or even 4-finger.
Or even a 4-finger. A Kit Kat is a biscuit. In its chunky capacity, it is no longer a biscuit and is clearly a chocolate bar.
I'd need a committee ruling on this.
No, well, you go and find one. You go and find one, and those 3 can piss off. White chocolate chunky Kit Kat. It has white chocolate, and it's a Kit Kat, and it's chunky. It basically ticks a majority of boxes in the winner on chocolate bar scenario.
See, if I was picking a Kit Kat chunky, I'd go for the peanut butter option.
Peanut butter's not a flavour, Dutton. It's truly disgusting, and I don't know why it's still allowed on the planet. It's up there with Marmite, like.
Oh well.
Those hazelnut ones that I used to have in yours were nice. You can shove them peanut butter ones, whatever you want.
I'll find somewhere for them. Don't worry.
Yeah.
They won't go. They won't get wasted.
Oh, excellent. Dutton, second pick.
Second pick. This is a tough one. I'm going to go controversially, and I'm going to say the Lion Bar.
Whoa. That is straight out of left field from Dutton. Do people even buy Lion Bars?
Lion
Aren't they
Bars
the things you just see in the vending machines that no one else is eating?
No,
Next to the plain Walkers.
Plain Walkers and the vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
They've tried to a bold approach to remarket themselves by now bringing out the white chocolate Lion Bar. Have you seen this? Are you
I haven't
familiar with
seen
this?
the white chocolate Lion Bar, no.
It's a strange taste. It gets a bit of getting used to, but unfortunately, the promotional period was over so quickly. I didn't have time to get used to it.
I'm not going to lie, I reckon I've had one Lion Bar ever. It's just never been in my rotation as a chocolate bar.
Okay.
I just don't get it. Dutton, third pick. Going dairy milk, whole nut. Love it. Especially from the fridge. Where do you stand on chocolate, Dutton? You okay with it being melted, just room temperature, or would you like it to be rock solid?
I like it to be chilled and crumbly to the bite, but I don't want it cracking my teeth.
See, I'm a teeth cracker when it comes to chocolate. It's caused a lot of friction in the main Quist household, as Kate and Alfie don't like chocolates out the fridge. My response, get used to it. Yeah, get used to it. I can say that again, and Kate's 150 miles away writing a blog. Dairy milk whole nut for me, Dutton.
Dairy milk whole nut, yeah.
Not really much more to say on it. What's yours?
Galaxy.
Okay.
Why have cotton when you can have silk? Next.
I used to do this, Dutton, and I was with you, but age just drifted me more to Cadbury's Dairy Milk over the Galaxy. I find the Galaxy quite sickly now.
I don't know you anymore.
Then again, I used to like Pepsi over Coke. What was wrong with me in those younger days?
You've had problems. Let's be honest.
I have, yeah. Not only ginger, but these strange twists. Dutton. Next one for me, Aspira.
Oh, I love Spiras, but it's not a day one pick.
Ah, Dutton. Do you know what? Do you know what I like about Aspira?
You can't get them anywhere.
Well, that's what I don't like about them. They're awesome, but you can also use them as a straw while drinking tea or hot chocolate. If you haven't done it, ladies and gents, get on it. It's amazeballs.
I will always take Aspira over its brethren, which was like the Twirl.
The Twirl is too much chocolate.
It's foul. I don't like it.
You've just covered a flake in more chocolate. No thanks. I'm sticking with the Aspira.
Okay, so this is my fourth selection, I believe.
Yep.
It's a relative newcomer, but I'm going to go with it again. It's the Reese's Nutrageous.
Say what now? I don't even know what that is.
It's basically, it's most like what is it? It's like a Snickers with a lot. It's got a peanut butter taste to it with a lot of caramel.
You've gone all you've gone looking for our American audience there with this Reese's nonsense. Next, you'll be putting Hershey bars on the list.
Believe me, I will not.
Someone offered me one of them today in work because they'd come back from America. And they were like, go on, have a Hershey bar. I was like, no. They were like, don't you like chocolate? I said, I do like chocolate. That's why I'm not having a Hershey bar. Exactly.
I live, as we know, I live in a slightly rural area. There's a lot of farms around here. You could name me any of the farms around here, and I would rather lick the tractor wheel than eat Hershey or Reason chocolate chews for that matter as well.
All that stuff's nonsense. So what's this new one called?
The Reese's Nutrageous.
I'll have to find it, although I can't say I'm going to like it. Dutton, last pick for me. Don't care. It's not a biscuit, it's a Twix. You knew it was coming.
Imbecile.
As I really wanted to pick Twix first, but it would have just caused all sorts of arguments, and I knew I'd still have Twix in my back pocket on the fifth pick because you're an idiot who thinks it's a biscuit. You think it's a biscuit, that's why.
Yeah.
I would buy Any shop I go into, I'm buying a Twix.
I came prepared for a discussion on chocolate bars, not biscuits.
It's not a biscuit.
Otherwise, the chocolate hobnob would have made an appearance by now.
It's not a. The Twix is not a biscuit.
When we mock draft biscuits, we'll see if it makes an appearance, shall we?
It won't be making an appearance on my mock draft because it's not a biscuit. Well, it will do just to be the single Twix. Final pick, Dutton.
Again, it has this trouble, you know, that it comes to the fifth pick. I had it last week. There's so many great ones. You know, there's a lot that can make an impact in my box set, as it were. But it's. I'm gonna have to go Snickers.
I think it's a great choice, Dutton. It's an undervalued bar, overshadowed by its Mars brethren, and I don't like a Mars bar.
No,
this
is a notable omission from the top five. You know, top fives of both of us. The Mars bar has been ignored.
I don't like a Mars bar, Dutton.
No, I can't stand them. It's a pleasure you can measure, and it's not a very high measure.
I'm with you on the marathon. It's an excellent choice, Dutton. So, for me, I've gone Whisper Gold, White Chocolate Chunky Kit Kat, Dairy Milk Whole Nut, Spira, and a Twix. Dutton. It's gone.
I'm here, I'm still here.
So what are your five then, you pleb?
Can't remember them.
You're an idiot. You picked Yorkie Biscuit Raisin. You picked that Reese's thing.
Mm.
You picked a Snickers. And you picked two other things that probably weren't that nice, not as good as mine. And I'm not helping you anymore if your brain's not clever enough to remember them.
I picked the Yorkie Biscuit Raisin, so straight away I know I've got, you know, a good chance in this.
But you've got four other chocolate bars. It's a combined thing, not one and then five things.
We'll let the Twitterati decide, shall we?
And your hashtag is what, Dutton?
Dut's Delights.
And I am, what was I?
Mainsey's Mixture.
Mainsey's Mixture. God, forgetful old men today. So, you decide, and, you know, listen back and see if you can remember Dutton's five, because you'll do better than me and Dutton. Now, yeah. I think it's time to get on to the interview, Dutton.
I think it is.
Let's do it. Done.
Yeah.
Our guest is with us. Guest this week is Mr. James Dixon. James is the producer and presenter of Tuesday Morning Football, which is a podcast, an excellent one at that. And has specialities in, Dutton, I got this off his LinkedIn, creating engaging social media content and campaigns, talking about the NFL and making tea.
Did you practice saying that a few times? Or?
No, I know. I didn't. So, let's introduce James. James, how are we?
I stand by all of those, by the way. I'm certainly the best person in my office at making tea. I don't know anyone finer. And unfortunately, I'm probably not the best person in my office about creating engaging social media content, which is a bit of a problem given that's my job. But the tea, I 100% stand behind.
So, see, the tea's a controversial issue because, as Maisie will point out, I have very strange tea.
You don't have tea, Dutton. You have hot water with milk.
It's the colour of chicken soup.
No, that's wrong.
So, James,
that's wrong.
What is your approach to tea if you're the tea-making genius in this group?
It's pretty simple, you know. Bag in first, and then it's hot water. I've got no truck with anyone who puts the milk in to save a little bit of time first. That's shoddy, and shoddy is a kind way of putting it. And then it's all about brewing. You know, you've got to basically, you know, take a cup of tea is it's not the tea that's the most important thing. It's the taking time out from your day. It's reflecting. It's, you know, getting into the kitchen and, you know, just pausing, you know, having some time to yourself. So let it brew there. Give it a really hard squeeze with the back of a teaspoon. And then put those in the bin. Anyone who puts tea bags on the side of the sink is an animal, in my book, and leaves them there just like, what do I want with that? And then, you know, just a tiny bit of milk. Tea should just be like just between that brown and orange, I reckon. That's me anyway.
See, there's people in our work who leave tea bags in the sink.
Well, that's a criminal offence, though.
Yeah. These people need kneecapping.
Exactly. And there's no way James could make you a cup of tea, Dutton, because you wouldn't drink it, as it's got colour.
No, I'd drink it. I'd be polite about it, but I'd be upset inside.
So, our next question, James, is a pretty simple one. Me and Dutton are obsessed with Twitter and social media, and you seem to have a job linked specifically to that. How did you become a social media expert?
I'm not sure I'm the best person to answer this because it's completely accidental how I got into it. I mean, when I went to university, I don't think I was even aware of the concept of social media. And yeah, it's just one of those. I certainly didn't grow up. It was like, what do you want to be when you're older? I want to be a social media manager. It just didn't. It just didn't exist. So what happened was I started some work. Very accidentally got involved in student unions after being going to university, mainly from hanging around in the bar of one, and then being one of those weird people who stood in student union elections and taking that year out from your studies, and then afterwards, getting a job with them, and then I kind of realised that essentially, like, we had no money to kind of communicate or market our activities to who we were trying to speak to, and our entire demographic, well, not our entire, but a large portion of our demographic was engaging on MySpace back then, and Facebook when you had to have like an academic account to be in Facebook. So it was really kind of, I was doing a communications job, and it was just like, we need to be on social media, to talk to our members cheaply. And then from that I kind of just specialized, and then got my first like social media job with a charity. Then I got a chance to work at Sky, which was really informative, and now I'm back doing charity stuff. But it's just fun, creating content, and chatting with people, help signposting them to information. I'm not sure what the precise route should be in now to social media, because I never really went through the traditional way.
Well, given the fact that when me and Dutton went to university, I don't even think MySpace was invented. Social media is a pretty new concept to us too.
This surprises me that Dutton went to university, and B, when Dutton went to university, was there even the web?
There was the web. You couldn't get on it because the computers weren't very good, and the idea of social media was someone wrote, Dutton is a dickhead on the toilet wall somewhere.
Which is usually me. If you want to speak to Dutton, ring this number. And it was a house number because nobody had a mobile phone. And Dutton, no offence, but Dutton really didn't go to university. He went to a polytechnic.
Oh, so did I. You better take that back.
No.
Yeah, it's very offensive.
It is. Dutton, it was actually a community college, but
Dear.
Sorry, Dutton. I went to a red brick. So.
It rhymes with the word I'm thinking of right now.
James, moving off this before me and Dutton get into a domestic. Dutton just said you've just done a 10K, and I've noticed you've ran a marathon in your past. You'll know Dutton, you know me a little less. We couldn't run 10 metres, never mind 10,000 or 26 miles. A, why do it? And B, what's the approach and training for it? Because I'm really interested, as I am seriously considering doing one.
Oh, you should. You definitely should. You'll know from meeting me down at the Wembley Games that I am not a fit guy. I think that's fair to say, in terms of, and so it's really kind of an imperative to try and stay alive a little bit longer. I find that it's just too hectic, my lifestyle at the moment, trying to do what I used to do when I was growing up, which is a lot of team sports, a lot of five-a-side football, a lot of rugby. And it just doesn't fit into the way I work now, or, trying to find enough time for like a girlfriend and things like that. So I took up running just because it's something, you don't have to do it at certain prescribed times. You don't have to get, 15 guys together at 2:00 on a Saturday to be able to do it. And to start with, I didn't like it. And I was off and on with it for a few years. But then I basically discovered podcasts, and that kind of kept me going. I just basically need to trick my mind into my running time is the time where I go out and I'm able to listen to podcasts and things that I'm interested in, and just sit back and, well, not sit back because that would be, not very good, but, just kind of relax and just kind of just enjoy it and soak in some content, and just get onto that. Now, in terms of training, I find the best thing to do is, I mean, for me, it's little and often in the week, just trying to get out a couple of miles here and there, and then just try and do a big run on the weekend. But honestly, I mean, yeah, don't want to get into kind of like weights and stuff like that, but I'm closer to an NFL lineman than a defensive back. Let's put it like that. And anyone can go out there and run. It's just one foot in front of the other, and it's just about determination, really.
Done. I think we should do this, Dutton. You up for it?
I'm not fit. I'm still on the pup list.
Why am I not surprised?
I tell you what, guys. Why don't shall we put on a little? We can do a little like 5K fun run on the morning of the Miami-Oakland game, and you can make that your little target.
I like it, Dutton.
Well, we are there for that.
We are there for that. Yeah, we are with my father, so we can get him to run for 5K as well. Although we may need a hospital.
I would pay thousands of pounds of your money to watch Bill run.
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Let's get it sorted. It'd be better than I'm watching Miami get beat by Oakland anyway.
Ouch.
Well, and now moving swiftly on to the NFL. James, we know you from Tuesday Morning Football, so how did you get into the NFL?
I was, I guess, fortunate, I don't know if it's not going to be fortunate. You're going to hear this and you're going to think possibly borderline child abuse. But I had NFL wallpaper when I was a kid. I don't know how. I don't know why. I just know, like, from about the age of 6 until probably around about the age of 13, one of my walls was covered in NFL wallpaper, and it had like 6 or 7 of the teams on there, and my dad was huge into it. My dad took me to some like British League games when he was really young, and then we would stay up and watch the Super Bowl when that was on Channel 4 or wherever that was on, and that kind of planted a seed, and it probably went away. And then again at uni, kind of a nice communal thing to do, Sunday night, sitting around with people, kind of really just trying to elongate the weekend by you've had your Friday, you've had your Saturday, what can we do Sunday night? Let's sit and watch sport. We watched Super Sunday during the day, and then by the evening comes around, it was like we watched a couple of games on Sky Sports, and it's just a sport that's fascinated me. I just love the. I think it's a bit of a cliche to call it like a chess match because it's a lot more violent than that. But I love the strategy, I love the tactics, I love the physicality, and it's just something that's always appealed to me. It just feels like. It feels like it should be bigger. And I know there's a number of people who think people who are into the NFL are like hipsters and just, reject other sports. That's not true. I'm a huge football fan. I'm a huge rugby fan. Cricket has, comes and goes with me, but, that's been a part of my, I'm into all sports, but I just think there's something about American football that the world needs to embrace because I think it's a quality sport.
I actually went on Sunday. I went to watch the Merseyside Nighthawks against the Chester Romans. Mm-hmm. It was an all-weather pitch in Skem. It wasn't a usual venue. They usually play somewhere else, but it must have been a hastily arranged venue because they only had the American football-style goalposts at one end.
I've seen that. That's quite common. I mean, I did a little bit of playing 1 year in uni, mainly because I went to join the rugby team, and it was like, well, Freshers' Fair, and I was just like, you guys are a bunch of dicks. So so I went. So I was walking past, and like the American football lads seemed pretty cool. So I did that for a little bit. All weather pitches where you had to like go to the other end to take the extra points. Completely familiar to me. So, but one of the things I would say is I find it increasingly hard. And this isn't a slight against anyone who does it, because I think playing is the ultimate. No matter what level you are, and if you can play, you should play, and that's where you're going to get your most enjoyment from sport. But I don't really watch a lot of British American football. It's just something it's not to say it's never appealed to me, but I think the standard is. Well, obviously, it's a lot lower than what we see on the TV. It's just in the same way that I don't watch a tremendous amount of, conference Premier football. I know it's there, it's fine. There's people who really enjoy it, and that's great for them. But it's just not. It's just not for me. I don't really watch a lot of. I get the same feeling when someone tries to get me into the CFL. I'm like, well, it's good, it's all right, and there's a place for it, but it's just not for me. And my focus, has always been NFL and like top level college, and that's what I like.
Yeah, it's fair. It's why in the States they struggle with what they would call soccer, because they can watch the Premier League now on NBC. Why would they bother watching Major League Soccer with over-the-hill European players and average American players? Doesn't make any sense.
You just described the United team.
Yeah. We've done the United gags already today, done. Although,
Sorry.
To be fair, I could do them all day.
I'm sure you could.
So, James, you got into the NFL. What made you think I'd like to do a podcast about it?
Ah, right. Now, I hear that you're going to be speaking to William in the near future.
Correct.
Yes.
Is he coming on into, is this the old comedy booking where you put you save the best till last, or no?
No. You replied first.
Applied.
You replied. Yeah.
Replied, not applied.
I was going to say, I don't remember doing that. No, me and Will go back to university. I was thinking about this because I thought you'd ask. Me and Will were put together by an ex-girlfriend of mine, and not in a weird way. And she was the station controller for the student radio station there, and he turned up at uni like a year after me, and he's always been into radio, and that's the thing that he wants to do, and he's obviously making a great success of that. But they were looking for someone to help him out with the Saturday afternoon sports show, and they tried a few people, and it wasn't kind of working. And so my girlfriend Jo, who's actually from your part of the world, and she's not my girlfriend anymore, but she was. She's up from Southport. She's a lovely part of the world, and she was you love sport, you do this with this guy Will, and we'll see if it works. And it was really good, and we had a nice banter and a rapport, and we were typical student radio, really really full of ourselves. So nothing much has changed in the intervening years, and we used to just muck around for 2 hours on a Saturday, and it was fun. And then we stopped doing it. I stopped doing the student radio. He continued doing it. He ended up winning some. No, winning is totally fun. Ended up getting nominated for some like awards and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool for him. And then he came with an idea. We was knocking around an idea like for a couple of years ago, and it was. And he was like, to me, he was like, do you fancy doing an NFL podcast? He's like, I want to do an NFL podcast. This is, he was working, I don't want to steal from his story, but he was working at TalkSport, and he was looking for, a specialism and a way to develop his, presenting, because at the time he was just doing producing work. And he said, let's do this. He's like, I don't know anyone who knows, I don't know anyone who knows anything more about the NFL than you, and we used to have a pretty good time doing it. And I was like, yeah, no, this should work. And the reason why I thought the podcast would work, and not A, because it would be fun to do some radio with Will again, but B, because I thought at the time what we were getting from NFL UK was really, really poor. I don't know if you remember. I don't know what your particular views on Inside the Huddle are now, but I think everyone can agree that it's got better. It used to be you didn't know when it was coming out, how regular it was coming out. There seemed to be a real lack of effort. And one of the things that annoyed me as a UK-based NFL fan at the time was because I just knew it was just with a tiny bit of effort you could get guests, and with a tiny bit of planning you could put it out at the same time, or you could let people know if there wasn't going to be a podcast that week or whatever it was. And so I just thought that there was a potential little gap there, and that we would just try and make our USP would be that we'd try and get big name American guests, and not in a kind of we're going to show them up kind of way, but just I think there's an appetite. We know there's a huge number of UK NFL fans. we know that they get a lot of information from the US, from podcasts and the internet and social media, and that's great. But, sometimes people like to hear British voices discussing the international series or whatnot. And we thought we could do that, but also bring a little bit of America to our audience. And I think we've done that. We've getting some really cool guests.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more. It's a great podcast and a good listen. And I'm glad Dutton pointed me in that direction. I mean, you were the first to listen to it, Dutch, weren't you?
I was. I mean, I was. It's quite odd in the sense that it's a podcast I do listen to, but on Twitter, the TMF feed followed me first. I think it was after the soundbite on Damashek. And so then, so it's like, oh, well, I'll give this a go. And then one of the first ones I listened to was when he spoke to Adam Rank and Tim Cowlishaw.
Oh yeah, that was a good show.
Yeah, so I thought, well, this is a good one. So this has started well, and I've listened near religiously ever since.
What's near religiously?
Well, near religiously,
half-heartedly at Christmas.
Yeah, it's this is what This is why I was so heartbroken to have missed the chance. When he said to have people call in, and I for some reason I didn't see that tweet, and I missed the shot.
I was backing you. I don't know if you remember. I was just like, there is no way that the man who lives on Twitter more than anyone else that I know is not going to be one of the first 3 people to respond to this tweet.
Stale bread boy, I think was the phrase.
Stale bread boy is a fantastic nickname, and more than deserved. But it's just ridiculous. But yeah, no, you let me down basically, Neil. And we had somebody else on. That was fine. But he wasn't you.
No.
So, for the Twitter, is it you who deals with the Twitter feed and all the producing?
What do you think the guy who does the radio producing does the producing, and the guy who does social media for a job does the social media?
But I would expect you to do both. Just Will's a bit, too big for all that, and leaves you to all the dog work. Is that not true?
Yeah, no, let's leave it like that. I do all the work.
I just assumed it wasn't Ollie.
Yeah.
No, because because there are words that are spelled correctly, occasionally.
Final thing from us, then, Jeeps. The 2014 NFL season, which I suppose begins in earnest tonight when I find out that the Washington Redskins are going to get beaten twice by the Philadelphia Eagles, probably both on prime time. What are you expecting from the new season?
Oh, just a lot. A lot. I'm expecting a lot of. I'm really looking forward to the schedule announcement. It sounds really geeky, but I'm going to look forward to when the games are, particularly when the Chicago games are. And then obviously there's a few kind of, I will pay attention to when Brady Manning 16 is, and, when Deshaun goes back to Philadelphia, when Steve Smith gets to play the Panthers. And that's going to be interesting. But what I'm hoping for from the season is probably a little bit of change. I feel like we're getting to the point with Brady being 37, Manning being 38, that they're just. I don't want them. Maybe I do. Maybe I do want them to have both crash and burn. But I feel like, particularly with the AFC, there needs to be teams that step up, because, quite frankly, watching the Patriots, get to 12 wins each year is particularly boring. And for the past, however long, waiting to see what happens between, how well Peyton Manning can do and whether he loses in the playoffs eventually. It just feels like there's a lot of repetition and with those sorts of storylines. So I'd like to see that. I'd like to see some innovation on the playing side of things. I feel like we were kind of promised a little bit more when coaches like Chip Kelly came into the league, and I think, I feel not that he hasn't been a good coach, and obviously the Eagles did really well last year, but I feel like I'd like to see what we were told the league was going to be like, and to see whether that worked, because I'd like to see RG3, be back to first year RG3. I'd like to see Cam Newton really get the chance to, to show what he can do. I mean, there's there's other players that I'm really looking forward to. That I hope that someone like Jake Locker gets the chance, because I actually think he's a very underrated player and he's got the ability to do something interesting with the Tennessee Titans. I'd love it if a team like Tennessee was challenging, because it used to be that you could go. There seemed to be a lot of upheaval each year, and you wouldn't know who was there. But now it just seems a little bit kind of like stale and staid. And certainly in the AFC, I'd like to see a few more kind of challengers emerge from the pack. I'd love to see Cleveland do well. I mean, who wouldn't want to see Cleveland do well? Is there,
no one on this podcast, James? So, we are both in on the Cleveland thing, although we were, and then they sacked everyone. But anyway,
they sacked you as well, but.
And Oakland. I mean, I think the NFL is a better place when the Oakland Raiders are doing well.
Couldn't agree more. You don't even know the Oakland Raiders ever being good, do you?
The Super Bowl where they got annihilated by Tampa was like the third season I'd watched it, and then since then I've just known there was a joke.
Well, yeah, this is the issue.
I can assure you that the Oakland Raiders have better players in their history than Rich Gannon.
Yes.
He was the worst, but
One of them scored possibly the best touchdown ever in the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, it was against my Washington Redskins.
That was good.
Yeah. Damn you, Marcus Allen. Damn you. Right, James. Thank you for your time.
No, do we have to go?
We do.
I was enjoying this.
Unfortunately, we do. Don't only pays for the short time on his meter. So
he's going to go off in a minute. Soon. I've got to go and put an extra coat on the baby.
James.
Wow, thanks for playing up to your stereotypes, guys.
Any time, as we speak, I'm in a hotel in Kent stealing things. We can follow you on Twitter where?
Please don't. Follow us. Follow us at TM Football UK for the Tuesday Morning Football account, or at the James Dixon for my random witterings on football and other stuff.
Fantastic, James. Thanks for your time.
No worries.
And that was the excellent James Dixon. An excellent guest, don't you think?
Excellent. Very, very entertaining, very informative.
And very knowledgeable on all subjects. And as we said, an excellent follow on Twitter, especially if you want to learn how to become a social media guy.
Mm-hmm. The guru.
I like that. So Dutton, that's the end of the show. Don't cry. And I think we're both going to go out now and jog in preparation for our 5K with James in September.
Well, that's it. We've made a commitment.
Oh God, may God have mercy on us all.
Angels and ministers of grace defend us.
This has been episode 63 of Waxing the Record Mains and Duts. Thanks for downloading.
Don't believe the hype.